If you wake up to pee at night, it's not your bladder. It's something completely different. How many times did you wake up last night to pee? Once? Twice? More than that? So many people that get up through the night think that they have a prostate problem or a weak bladder. Well, you're going to learn today it has nothing to do with that. And if you get up even once a night, you're going to be extremely happy that you watched this video, because I'm going to show you how to fix it very quickly. Because the real big problem is not the peeing at night. It's what it does to your sleep. It literally will destroy your sleep. And with poor sleep, that gives you a cascade of a lot of other problems, including affecting your metabolism, okay, your ability to lose weight. It will raise your cortisol if you're not sleeping. It'll put you at risk for type 2 diabetes and give you something called insulin resistance, which creates a lot of other issues related to blood sugar. It will increase your risk of high blood pressure, make your arteries more stiff, give you more visceral fat because of the cortisol. It'll keep you in a hunger mode, wanting to snack through the day. Also, not sleeping affects your ability to detoxify your brain. That's why you wake up with brain fog. I had that really bad. Your mood goes down. Anxiety, depression, your cognitive function, focus, memory, concentration, all are affected if you're not sleeping. Not to mention low testosterone. And of course, you're going to be tired all day long because you're not sleeping. There are cultures where there's people that live well into their 80s and even 90s, and they sleep through the entire night. They're not getting up at all. Yet in certain countries, especially in the US, 1 in 5 men and 1 in 4 women get up at least once or twice to urinate every single night, which is crazy. So aging is not the problem. There's several other things that I'm going to show you that are the problem. So the first thing you need to know is there's a hormone involved. Maybe you've never heard about this hormone, and I'm not going to get into it too deep, but it's called the anti-diuretic hormone. Now think about what that means. Anti-diuretic. It means it's anti-you urinating excessively, especially through the night. So this hormone is super important in the prevention of excessive urination, especially at night. It has everything to do with water balance. If there's a problem with this hormone, you're going to make more urine, especially at night. The first thing that will affect it is having an imbalance of too much salt and not enough potassium. This is very common. So right there, that's going to affect the kidneys. That's going to create a problem. Your body's going to want to get rid of this excess salt, so it's going to cause more urine to be produced. And just so you know, avocados are loaded with potassium. Leafy greens, bigger salads have a lot of potassium. Next one is blood sugar, which if you're diabetic, you know that you pee through the night, because if there's too much sugar in your blood, the body will get rid of it. And so as it goes through the kidney and the bladder, it's going to pull water with it. Typically, if you have an imbalance of salt and potassium and blood sugar issues, you're going to have fluid retention in your legs. So if you were to press into your lower leg or ankle or your foot and it leaves a dent, that means you have fluid retention. But when you're no longer standing and you lay horizontal in bed, a lot of that fluid is going to get absorbed back into the blood, and it has to go somewhere, and it's going to go out through the kidneys. So if you have fluid retention, suspect these two problems right here. Some really key nutrients that are involved with bladder control are vitamin B1 and magnesium. B1 has everything to do with the part of the nervous system that controls especially the bladder. But in order for B1 to work, it needs magnesium. So these two are really important, especially if you urinate in the middle of the night and not a lot of urine comes out, or anything that's related to neurogenic or neurological, think B1 and magnesium. Other things that mess with this hormone would be too much caffeine. This is why it's important just to have like a small amount of caffeine in the morning. Don't overdo it, because this can act as a diuretic, not just from coffee, but from tea as well. And even chocolate has some stimulants in there that can cause a diuretic effect. Sugar and starch, of course, are going to contribute to this insulin resistance. And this is a really big culprit because this is going to raise the glucose in the blood and the body is going to have to get rid of it. It gets rid of it fast with the help of insulin. But as it leaves, it pulls water. So if you're doing sugar or starch, especially in the evening, you're going to have to pee at night several times. Excess protein. When you consume too much protein, one of the byproducts is urea. And your body's going to get rid of urea by releasing more urine. So if you're having a huge protein supper, whatever, suspect you might need to get up because of the excess protein turning into urea. This is why I recommend having most of your protein as your first meal, maybe at lunch, and having a smaller amount of protein for dinner if you're getting up or having a problem sleeping. But the biggest trigger for throwing off this hormone is this right here, alcohol. Boy, if you want to get up and pee, just drink alcohol before bed. That's one of the biggest triggers. When's the worst time to drink fluids? Well, the answer to that is later at night. Anytime before 3 hours of you going to bed is a very bad idea. A lot of people, including me, are not thirsty in the first part of the day, but a lot more thirsty in the evening. And I used to drink a ton of water at night until I learned that this is not dehydration. It's a survival mechanism to cause you to have enough fluid because you're not going to be drinking for the next 12 hours. What's worse than that is snacking on carbohydrates and starches or salty things, snacking. You'll get really thirsty and drink a lot of fluid. Oh my gosh, you're going to be up all night urinating because also the sugar and the starch are going to deplete your potassium even more. It's not just what you drink, it's what you're eating. Now think about this. Your kidneys filter 170 liters of fluid all day long, okay? They're filtering all this liquid, but only getting rid of between 1.5 and 2 liters of fluid. So now let's talk about how to turn this thing around. I've already covered a lot of these things, but let's just go through the list. Avoid all alcohol, okay, at night. Right there, that's going to make a huge change. If you have any challenges of getting off alcohol, I'm going to put a link down below for a video for you to watch, okay? No fluids 3 hours before bed. So I get a lot of fluid in the first part of the day and also up until dinner time. You don't want to have salty things right before bed. You don't want to consume any snacks at night. That is a killer for most people because it's going to create insulin resistance. In fact, out of all the things you can do, the snacking at night is the absolute worst thing, especially if you get up even one time a night. If you have too much sodium and not enough potassium, and this is very common, the kidneys will not respond to that hormone like they should anymore. And so one thing that I recommend is start increasing higher potassium foods, avocados, or even take a high potassium electrolyte in the early part of the day, not at night. So this is one more thing that I've been successful with in helping with this problem. Also, just helping people stop drinking too much caffeine. And it's amazing how many people drink coffee all day long, and they just need to cut down the caffeine because the diuretic is just pushing the fluid out. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but no snacking. Also, keep your carbs lower, okay? If you reduce your carbs and your sugar, then there won't be any reason to actually cause the water to go out. You have to realize that water follows sugar, okay? So if there's more sugar, it's going to follow it and it's going to go out through the urine. And all of this causes insulin resistance. And then this other point of no large protein meals, be careful at night of doing too much protein. It's just going to cause you to urinate too much. And if you have the situation where you have to pee really bad and only a little bit comes out, and like, what's going on? Well, that's a neurological thing. So more B1, and whatever it says to take on the directions, I would multiply it by 4 because you need a higher amount. You need a therapeutic dosage a B1. Also add magnesium glycinate and more potassium. And after you do that, because insulin resistance is at the root cause of this problem, I want you to get all the details on how to fix that. So I put a video up that shows you how to correct insulin resistance. It's right here. Watch it right now.